Is America breaking its own laws for Israel? If a small country in Africa, Asia, or Latin America did exactly what Israel has done, would the United States still send billions of dollars in military aid? Or would Washington cut them off immediately? That question sits at the center of one of the most controversial debates in American foreign policy. Every year, the United States provides Israel with billions of dollars in military assistance. Supporters call it a vital alliance. Critics call it a double standard. But the argument goes deeper than politics. Critics say the real issue is whether U.S. aid to Israel is consistent with American law itself. Let's start with nuclear weapons. Israel is widely believed by intelligence experts and governments around the world to possess a nuclear arsenal. Yet, unlike Britain, France, and the United States, Israel has never officially acknowledged possessing nuclear weapons. Israel is also not a signatory to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, commonly known as the NPT. That matters because American law contains provisions known as the Symington and Glenn Amendments. These laws were created to discourage countries from developing nuclear weapons outside international safeguards. Critics argue that if these laws were applied equally, Israel would face the same restrictions that Washington has imposed on other countries over nuclear issues. Supporters respond that the legal situation is more complex and that successive administrations from both parties have interpreted the law differently. But that's only the beginning. The next issue involves how American weapons are used. The United States does not simply hand out military aid without conditions. Congress passed laws governing how foreign recipients can use American weapons. The Arms Export Control Act and the Foreign Assistance Act require that military assistance serve legitimate security purposes. Human rights organizations, UN investigators, former State Department officials, and legal scholars have repeatedly argued that certain uses of American weapons in Gaza raise serious questions under those laws. They point to civilian casualties, destruction of civilian infrastructure, attacks on protected facilities, and allegations of violations of international humanitarian law. Supporters of Israel reject these accusations. They argue Israel is fighting organizations that deliberately operate among civilians and that civilian casualties, while tragic, do not automatically prove unlawful conduct. But the legal debate does not stop there. The Leahy laws prohibit U.S. assistance to foreign military units when there is credible information that those units committed gross human rights violations. For decades, human rights organizations have documented allegations involving Israeli military units. Critics argue that if these allegations involved almost any other country receiving U.S. military aid, Congress would already be demanding sanctions or aid suspensions. Supporters respond that allegations alone are not proof and that Israel maintains investigative mechanisms and judicial review processes. Then there is another question few Americans ask. Why does the United States apply one standard to some countries and a different standard to others? Washington has sanctioned countries, cut military aid, restricted weapons transfers, and imposed penalties around the world for actions that critics argue are comparable to accusations raised against Israel. Yet aid to Israel has continued under Republican and Democratic administrations alike. Why? Supporters say the answer is simple. Israel is America's closest ally in the Middle East. It provides intelligence cooperation, military innovation, and strategic advantages that benefit U.S. national security. Critics answer differently. They argue strategic importance has effectively placed Israel above rules that would be applied to almost any other nation. And that's the question at the heart of this debate. Not whether you support Israel, not whether you support Palestine, but whether American law should be applied equally. Because if laws only apply to some countries and not others, are they really laws at all? Or are they just tools used when politically convenient? And that leaves one final question. If another country had an undeclared nuclear arsenal outside the NPT, received billions in American military aid, and faced repeated allegations involving civilian casualties, would Congress treat that country the same way it treats Israel? Or would the response be completely different? What do you think?